Two things that are always important to point out about Flash when you talk about it. Number one is that I actually thought the movie was fantastic. I had a great time with it. The critic score is pretty solid, 65%, which means out of every 100 critics, 65 liked it, 35 didn't. The audience score, last I checked, was at 85%. That's pretty decent. That's pretty solid, pretty good. But the second fact that you cannot ignore when talking about the Flash is that it flopped. And is in the midst of flopping and flopping hard. Second weekend drop-off of 72.3%, which represents the biggest drop-off in the history of the DCEU. Now listen, we've got a little something to talk about here regarding Flash, but it does involve a small spoiler regarding a cameo in the film at the end. If you did not know about it or you don't want to know about it, maybe add this video to your watch later list and come back. Ready? You've been warned. So, for those of us who've seen The Flash, and apparently not a ton of us have, George Clooney pops up at the end in a guest cameo, in a cameo that the reaction of the audience that I saw with was actually pretty good. I mean, it was a pretty good response to George Clooney. It was fun. It was funny seeing Clooney on stage or on screen there as Batman again, Bruce Wayne. That was great. But did you know it was not originally supposed to be George Clooney? It was supposed to be somebody else, and that is the topic of today's Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day. Listen, if you guys have a question for either our podcast or one of our daily videos, go ahead and call our hotline anytime 24/7 at 951-268-4259. And again, today's question is about who is that little bit at the end supposed to be? Check it out.
Hello, this is Marcus from Rochester. I read somewhere that Christian Bale was asked to return as Batman for the new Flash movie, but he refused. Some may say that's probably for the best. But this got me thinking, and I wanted your thoughts on this. Would this movie have been more successful if Christian Bale was Batman instead of Michael Keaton? The Dark Knight is always brought up when a new Batman movie is released, so I feel like it might have had an advantage. Let us know what you think. Thank you.
All right, Marcus, thanks a lot for calling that in. And listen, you mentioned that Dark Knight's always brought up whenever another Batman movie's come out. I'll go one step further. It feels like the Dark Knight is always brought up whenever any new comic book movies come out. I mean, for a lot of people, the Dark Knight, Christian Bale's The Dark Knight, is the gold standard. And where this is all coming from, this idea that Christian Bale was originally, asked to be, the plan was to have Christian Bale pop up in the movie. This comes from Kevin Smith. Now, Kevin Smith was recently doing a panel, and he revealed that, it was actually Christian Bale that they approached, Smith said. It was Christian Bale they tried to get for that cameo. This is what Kevin Smith said. He said, Warner Brothers asked Christian Bale for months and months, hoping that he would break down, and he was like, no. So Warner Brothers was like, let's pivot, let's get another Batman, and they just grabbed George Clooney. And you know what? The effect was really good. Again, as a quick cameo at the end, the effect was great. Now, whether or not Clooney or Christian Bale popped up in an end cameo was not going to affect the outcome of Flash. It wasn't going to turn it from a flop into a hit with a 15-second cameo at the end of the movie, even if it was Christian Bale. Wasn't going to make a difference. But, Marcus raises an interesting question. They did make a decision with Flash that they wanted it to be Flash with Michael Keaton's Batman. And sure enough, when they announced that Michael Keaton's Batman was going to be a part of this movie, there was a lot of excitement. It was a couple of years ago now, but you could tell there was a lot of excitement about it. But Marcus raises an interesting question. If Warner Brothers had, instead of doing the Michael Keaton Batman, a Batman that was out over 30 years ago, and instead went with the Christian Bale Batman, which represents what some people feel is the greatest comic book film of all time with The Dark Knight. Not everybody thinks that, but there's a good number of people that do. And it was much more recent than Michael Keaton's Batman. Could that have changed the box office fortunes of The Flash? I will say this. First of all, there was no way they were ever be able to do that. Christian Bale, not too long ago, was asked about would he ever want to play Batman again. And he softened his stance over the years, because years ago he said, nope, done, never, nope. But not so long ago, he was asked that again. And Christian Bale said, hey, listen, if Christopher Nolan came to me and said, I've got a great idea for a new Batman movie, he said, then I'd be interested, but that's it. So there's number one. Well, then just get Christopher Nolan involved. Well, that wasn't going to work either, because Christopher Nolan has made it clear over the years that he never wanted his Batman as a part of some shared cinematic universe. His Batman was going to be a grounded Batman. His Batman did not exist in a world with alien beings that flew and shot lasers out of their eyes. You know, that's just Christopher Nolan's thing. So you got Christian Bale saying, I ain't going to do nothing unless Christopher Nolan comes to me and says he's got a great idea. And Christopher Nolan wouldn't have agreed for him to be in that anyway. But okay, let's play theoretical for a second. Let's say Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale got on board. So this is a lot of hypotheticals built on hypotheticals. Hypothetical number one, Warner Brothers decides they want it to be Christian Bale's Batman in the movie with Flash. Hypothetical number two, Christian Bale says, sure, if you can get Christopher Nolan on board. Hypothetical number three, Christian Bale says, sure, this has my blessing. Go ahead and do that. Okay. Would that have made a box office difference for the Flash? Now, I say this as somebody who really enjoyed this movie the way it is. I loved Michael Keaton's Batman in it 100%. So keep all that in mind when I say this. Yes, I do believe there would have been an impact at the box office. Now, do I think it would have turned the Flash movie from what is currently a $215 million movie into a billion-dollar film? No, I don't think that. But again, because of those reasons we explained earlier, Christian Bale's Batman is considered to be in what some people think is the greatest comic book movie of all time. And it's a lot more recent than the Michael Keaton Batman movies. And just based on those two things alone, I do think you would have seen a movie with a bigger box office return. But that being said, there is no way Christopher Nolan or Christian Bale would have wanted their Batman, I think, in a world with invading Kryptonians and Supergirls and Flashes and all that kind of stuff. So theoretically, yeah, would have made a difference. But take the theoretical out of it, it just never would have happened. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. From the gas pump to the grocery store, your utility bills and favorite streaming services, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know that ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been saving almost 70% a month over my old phone plan. For people looking for extra savings this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Kevin Smith is saying that Warner Brothers for months approached Christian Bale to do that cameo at the end of the movie. And had they gone one step further and actually had his Batman in the movie instead of Michael Keaton's, do you think that would have made a big difference as far as how many people went to the movie theaters to go check it out? Whatever you guys think and however you feel about that, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks for checking out our video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, but don't forget, we also have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today.